Hello, this is Paul Conterio and welcome to our eFileCabinet Express training. Thank you for taking time today to be here. This training is scheduled for approximately 90 minutes and comprises 10 sessions. Each session demonstrates a different feature of eFileCabinet Express. So let's get started. You may ask questions by using the control panel to the right that says, "Got a question? Email us." Type your question in the box and then click Send Email. So here is the agenda for today's training. First, we'll talk about the structure of eFileCabinet, accounts, cabinets, drawers, folders, subfolders, and the files themselves. We'll talk about settings. There are user settings and account settings. We'll talk about users, guest users, and groups. We'll talk about profiles, metadata, unique identifiers. We'll talk about templates, the predefined folder structure. Talk about permissions, notifications, item expirations, file management, and finally the audit logs. Okay, the structure of eFileCabinet. So we'll start with that, number one. The uppermost structure of eFileCabinet Express is the account. You'll see this icon representing your account when you log in. You are the user and control this account. The default name of your account is My Account. However, you can change the name of your account to anything you want. In most cases, it's your company or business name. I have changed the name of my account to My Business. The guest users you set up will also see your account icon and what you named it. I have been set up as a guest user in the Blaylock & Company CPA account. Your email address uniquely identifies you to an eFileCabinet Express account. So if you use the same email address for more than one account, you'll see those accounts when you log in. eFileCabinet Express, again, is structured by accounts, cabinets, drawers, and folders. And there's no limit to the number of cabinets, drawers, folders, and even subfolders you can create. So let's take a look. Okay, I'm going to sign into my eFileCabinet Express. And you can see here is my account. I'm going to change the name to My Business. I'm going to right click, go down to rename. It's that easy to change the name of your account. Click enter. Now I'm going to create a cabinet. And I can do that one of three ways. I can right click and create a new cabinet. I can come up to the toolbar here and create a new cabinet. I can slide to the right, click on this plus button, and create a new cabinet. So we'll call this My Clients Cabinet. Enter. And now I'm going to create my first drawer, which will be a client. This will be a user I'll set up later. So I'll right click, create a new drawer, and this will be the name of the person who's my new client, which is my name, so I'm going to pretend I'm my own client. Enter. Now I can create a folder structure by right-clicking and creating a new folder, or by applying a template. Now later on I'll show you how to create the templates, but I'm going to apply a template right now. I have two templates in here that I've already created. This is my accounting template. So I simply click on this is the template icon and apply it. And now I have a folder structure automatically set up inside this new drawer. Now if I want to create a folder on the fly, I right click, new folder, and I'll just call this a special folder. And it's that easy. And so that's how to create cabinets, drawers, folders, and subfolders. And as I mentioned, we'll go into how to set up templates later on. Settings. As I mentioned, there are user settings and account settings. You as the main user will have access to both. A guest user, however, will only have access to the user settings. It is from the account settings that you can brand your eFileCabinet Express account with your logo. So let's take a look. Okay, we're back where we left off inside eFileCabinet Express. And I'm going to go up to the hamburger menu and down to user settings, which you see here, and also up here. Either of these two buttons takes you to the same place. So let's click on user settings so you can see them here. And also again, if I come here and click here, it just takes you to the same location. So these are the user settings that your guest users are able to go and be able to update their password and also determine how long they want their browser to be open before it automatically closes. Okay, I'm going to go up to the main menu, the hamburger menu here, and then go down to Admin tab and see the account settings, which is found here. And so here, as the account owner, I can see information that's helpful. I can change the name of my account. It says my account. I can look under the account details and see how many users I have. I am the only user. I have no guest users at this point. I'm going to create a new one shortly. I have no files stored and there's no data stored in the server. And then the account features shows additional features that can be purchased a la carte. And we'll talk about the benefit of these features as we go through the training. And you can see if you have a license for them, this shows you that you have a license, or I have a license for each one of these features. Okay, below that, you can see if you want to set up, and I recommend you do this, we'll talk about this more later, is to be able to add your email settings so that when your emails go out and notify your clients, they go through your mail server and not ours. Your clients know who you are. They do not know who we are. And so we'll talk more about the benefit of this later. But let's go into the branding section and let's brand this account. And you can see it's fairly easy to do. These are the color choices that you can put up here in your toolbar. First thing I'm going to do is have a unique URL. So I'm going to choose my business. And then I am going to come down here and change the logo from eFileCabinet Express to my logo. And I'm going to click on this select image. This opens up a window into the computer I'm sitting on, and I can choose the logo I wish to place there. Okay, now I want to match, I want to change the toolbar color, and then I simply hit save. And now that's how easy it is to brand your account. So you can see there is my logo up there. And when any emails are sent to my clients, it will also contain this logo, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. Also, by clicking this logo, it takes you back to your home page. All right, users and groups. Currently, eFileCabinet Express allows you 1 user and 50 guest users. I will show you how to create a guest user, and will also demonstrate the purpose and benefits of groups, how to create a group, and how to assign users to a group. So let's take a look. Okay, back inside eFileCabinet Express, I am going to create a new user. And I'm going to use a tool that we've put in here. It's a really great tool. Just click on Need Help. And one of the things I'm going to do is create a new guest user. And I'm going to click this little button here. This little needs help is there whenever you would like to use it. And when I click on it, it tells me, it shows me what I need to do next. Click on the hamburger icon. So I click on the hamburger icon and it says, click on the admin button. And I click on the admin button. And then it says, click users and groups. So I click on users and groups. And then this window comes up and it says, would you like to create a user or a guest user? So I want to create a new guest user. Brings me back to the menu and says, click guest user. Click create guest. And so now I'm at where I need to be to enter the email address for this new guest user. Remember, email addresses are essential. And so I'm going to place the name now of the person who is me as a guest user, and then click on Create. Now I could add a profile or place a profile here. We'll talk about that later. I'll just simply click on Create. Congratulations, you've created a guest user. So this little needs help button is there as you need to use it. Okay, I'm bringing in the email account that I have, and you'll see almost immediately I've received an email letting me know, pretending I'm the guest user, that I just received welcome to eFileCabinet email. And so I'll simply open that and see what it says, and here is that email. It shows eFileCabinet, no reply at eFileCabinet.com. And so when I show you how to brand it, you can actually create it so that your email address shows up there because they know who you are. They don't know who we are. And then it says, welcome to eFileCabinet. And you can read through this. And it shows my email has created a user for you in eFileCabinet so you can work remarkably. And so here is my username, which is the email address. Now I can set my password as a guest user. Tells me how to get started. Set your password, log in using the username and password, accept the terms of the service agreement. Once the above steps are completed, you'll be able to use eFileCabinet. So I will do that. I'll set the password. Save it. So now here are the terms of the agreement that you can read through. And then if you're ready, click accept. And so now I have logged in as the guest user for this account. You can see the guest user does not see the drawer or the cabinets, just my business. When the guest user clicks on the hamburger menu, they do not see the admin tab. They have the user setting here and also the user setting up here. And so that is the address of my new guest user, email address. And I can change this for as long as I want as far as how long do I want to keep the browser open. I can reset this for a longer period of time if I wish. Update it. And we'll come back to this guest user in a few minutes. So I'm going to move the guest user out. I'm going to re-log in as the main user. And so now here's my guest user. And I'm going to give this guest user permissions to see this drawer. Okay, so I'm going to come over to the detailed menu here on the right. And I'm going to go to permissions. I'm going to add permissions. I have only the one guest user. I can just type his name. It comes right up. I'm going to give this guest user read and write permissions. That means I'm able to, as the admin or main user, send documents to this guest user. And by giving him write permissions, he's able to send documents back to me. And I'll simply click on Save. Now I'm going to go up to the hamburger menu again. Go down to the Admin tab. Go back to Users and Groups. This is me. I am the user. Here is my guest user, my one guest user. And I'm going to create a couple groups now. Simply come up to the upper right, Create Group, and I'm going to call this my Clients Group. And click Add Group. I'm going to create a second group, and I'm going to call this my Family Group. And add the group. So you can create as many groups as you desire. And so I have two groups right here. I'm going to go back to my guest user, and I'm going to make him a member of the family group. I click on my guest user. I have these two choices here, and I can make him a member of the family group and the client group. If he happens to be a family member, I can do both. But let's say he's not, I'll just make him a member of the clients group and update. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and create a bunch of users so that I can demonstrate to you how I can assign these to different groups. So when I come back, you'll see a lot of additional guest users that I've set up in order to show you how you can use the groups with different users, and later how profiling allows you to search for different guest users. But before I do that, I'm going to bring in the new guest user I just created and show you now that this guest user, because I gave him permission to this drawer, can see now this drawer that I've created and given this guest user permission, and the guest user can come over here and see that I have given him the read and write permissions. And so I will be back shortly. Okay, I'm going to show you what I've added in the client's cabinet. I've added a number of new drawers, 8 new drawers, 7 for pretend guest users, and 1 2017 documents drawer. So let's go to the admins tab and users and groups. And you can see here are the pretend guest users that I've added in this example here. So let's go back to the home menu now. And I'm going to add another cabinet. Right click, new cabinet, and this will be my human resource cabinet. And so now I'm going to go back to work and create pretend employees for a pretend company. Another way in which you can use eFileCabinet Express. Okay, I'm back inside eFileCabinet Express after having created 14 additional drawers in the human resource cabinet. 9 of them I've created new guest users, which are employees, actual employees of eFileCabinet, to use in this example. And so as I look up here, I've created an all employees drawer, an executives team drawer, marketing, sales, and support, and then the individual drawers for these employees. Now, if I come up to the hamburger menu and then go to the admin tab and go to users and groups and look at the guest users, you can see I've added more guest users here as I've created them for the human resource cabinet example. If I go down to the settings, you can see now, again, I'm the only user here, and I have 17 guest users out of 50. And right now there is no data being stored. I have not moved any documents up into eFileCabinet Express. Okay, so I'm going to go and give you one more example. I'm going to create a family cabinet. So I'm going to do that right now. To show you another exciting way in which you can use eFileCabinet Express. Okay, I've added 8 family members to my family drawer. 8 users, you can see here, these are pretend people, but they're family members in this example. I've also created a drawer called All Family. So when I come up to the hamburger menu, go to the admin tab, users and groups, guest users, you can see I've expanded and added a number of users to my eFileCabinet Express account. And if I pull up one of my family members, Peter Smith, and I look down here, you can see he is a member of the family group. So each of those new guest users that I've created, I've made each of them a member of the family group. Okay, I want to show you one other thing as we look in this under clients. Remember, one of the clients is Conterial Paul. Open up his drawer and see his folder structure. So I am going to bring in Conterial Paul as the guest user, and notice that is all he sees. He does not see any of the other cabinets nor any of the other drawers. The guest users you set up will only see what you allow them to see. Let's move on. All right, next we're going to talk about profiles. Profiles, which is metadata, unique identifiers. By tagging items with profiles, you are able to search for them. So what is a unique identifier? What are they? Well, let me give you a couple examples. So here's a map of the United States. If I want to search for the state of Utah, I can easily do that, and it identifies Utah here. Utah is a unique identifier to this geographical location. If I want to narrow that search to a zip code, there is another unique identifier. The zip code identifies this geographical area. So let's say I want to narrow my search even further by using profile items. Okay, here is an address that takes us to our office building in Lehigh. Let me give you one other example. Here is a social security number. This uniquely identifies an individual. In this case, the person is Elvis Presley. This is his social security number. Notice back then when they were originally rolled out, they were never intended for identification purposes. Boy, have things changed. So let's take a look at eFileCabinet Express. So inside eFileCabinet Express, right now I'm in the Conterial Paul drawer. Okay, as you go to the right here in the detailed menu, when you click on this button, this pulls up the profile information for that drawer. Here are the unique identifiers: full name, company name, email, phone number, etc. This makes up my client's profile that I put together, and you decide these items, but when they're filled out and searched for up here, it uniquely identifies this drawer, which brings that drawer up in the search. So let's take a look. Okay, back inside eFileCabinet Express, I'm going to go up to the hamburger menu. I'm going to go down to the admin tab. I'm going to go to profiles. So here are profiles, and here are profile items. I have 3 profiles I've set up: a client's profile, which we just witnessed or saw, a family profile, and a human resource profile. So if I open up the client profile, here are my profile items: full name, company name, email, phone number, etc. Okay, if I go back to family profile, you can see I have a full name, family member, email. So these are the items that I think are important to me for my family profile. Again, if I go to human resources, I have full name, email, company name, and department. So those are the 4 items. The items are what makes up the profile. You can create whatever items you want. So if I want to create a new item, let's say I have I want to create another drawer and cabinet for vendors, and I want to have a profile for them. So I can come up here and create another profile item. And so let's say this item is the contact person for the vendor. That's one item. Okay, and so that will be a text. As you can see, there's a drop down here: text, email, number, date, phone number, checkbox. Checkbox, you can search for true or false with a checkbox, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So we'll go to text and simply add contact. So now I have another profile item here that I can use in creating a profile. Let's bring another one in. Let's create the vendor name. Okay, and so then that again would be text. I'll add that. Those two now, I already have profile items that are available to make up a vendor profile. So let's do that. I'll come up to profile, and I'm going to create a vendor profile. So come up here. Now these aren't creating the profile items. I'm creating the profile here. And so let's just call this vendor. Okay, now what do I want to make up my vendor profile? Well, I think I want to have that contact, whoever that person is. So I simply click on the box here, and it brings it up as the first item. And then the other thing I want is the phone number to the contact for the vendor. And then the last thing maybe is the email address. And so now I have these items, the contact, well, vendor itself, let's bring vendor in there, the name of the vendor. And then say I want vendor at the top, so these little arrows allow me to navigate the item to whatever position you want it to appear. So vendor, contact, phone number, email, and now I'm going to add the profile. So now I have an additional profile to choose from. And it's very easy to delete profiles if you ever wish to do that. So let's go to the users and groups. Okay, here's my guest users. And here I can sort them. I can search for them. If I look at Angie here, here's the profile I set up. She's a family member. So I can set up the profile here. She's a member of the family group. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Again, let's go back to guest users. Let's go down to Pete Best. Okay, Pete's profile. He's a client. So he's a client of mine. So let's go to the area where I'm going to create a new guest user. So let's just create one other. We need to put in the email address. That's the unique identifier. This is Jane Jensen. So her email is jane@floristofutah.com. And I'll just put her name here, Jane Jensen. She is a new client of mine, so I'll put her in the client group, and I could give her the client profile and fill that out here and fill this information out, which I'm going to skip here right now. I'm just going to create this new person, this new guest user. So if I need to ever search for Jane, I can search for her very quickly here, and there she is, and I can go back and edit the profile later. So I'm going to go back up to the home. She is a client. I am going to go to my clients cabinet, right click, and I'm going to create a drawer for Jane. And so this is Jensen Jane. Enter. So here's Jane Jensen. I'm going to come over now to the detailed menu. Click on this icon, which is your profiles. And I'm going to create a profile for Jane here. Click this little icon that allows me to do that. Here are all my profiles. There's my client's profile. These are the fields I would fill out. There's my family profile, the fields I chose for my family, human resources, and then the vendor one we just created. Vendor, contact, phone number, email. But Jane's a client, so let's fill out the client profile, at least some of it. So Jane Jensen, and the company name is Jensen's Florist. And for the sake of time, I can fill out this later. This again is my client profile, and these are the fields that I have chosen for my client's profile. So I can simply update it. And now these are searchable items up here. Oh, one of the things I want to show you too, under customer, let's edit this again. Under customer, I put client. And I did that for all of my customers. And the reason I did that is because if I search up here for the word client, is you look at a moment like here's Robin Hood. Here's Robin Hood's profile. He has that client under customer too. There's Benny Hill. And you'll see Benny has client. Every one of my clients has that unique identifier. So if I come up here and type in the word client, it'll bring up all of my clients. Okay, if I come back to the home menu, and I have a newsletter that I'm sending out to my clients, and you notice in the profile information as I come here, you can see this person, Tom Adams, has requested my newsletter. I had a checkbox. If the client wants it, I click it, and it brings up true. So I come up here and type in the word true, and this will allow me to see everyone who is subscribed to my newsletter. If I type in false, this will show me the clients who have not chosen to take my newsletter. So just a different way to search. So back up to the main menu. Let's go in the family drawer. So here are my family members, pretend family members. As I look at their profile, there's different unique identifiers for my family, but in each of them I type the word kin. So if I type the word kin up here, it'll bring up every one of my pretend family members. Let's go back again to the main menu, and let's go down to human resources. So on my human resource cabinet, these are all the employees of eFileCabinet that I have set up here. So if I click on any one of the drawers and come over to the profile item, you'll see the profile for this particular employee. Now I've placed EFC, which is eFileCabinet, so I can quickly search for EFC and pull up all the employees. Again, uniquely identifying them. Now if I want to search just for a particular employee, I can type in here and type a name. One of the things that uniquely identifies him, there's Mike Evans. Okay, and there's the profile for Mike coming up, plus it brings me down to his drawer automatically in the search, and I can look at the profile and it pulled Michael Evans here. So the profiling allows you to search and to do searches by different profile items that you decide. One other item too I want to point out is inside eFileCabinet's human resources, I have different departments set up, so depending on the employee's responsibilities within the company. So if I type in support up here, it'll bring up anyone in the support department. And you can see the support team and the two individuals that I have here under the support. If I type in sales, it'll bring up the employees that are involved in the sales. So the benefits of the profiling is the ability to search and to use those profile items in whatever way you wish to search for individual items. And so I recommend, as you create your profiles, to look at what's important, those items that are most important to you. And as you search for any of them up in the search field here, it will bring back to whatever you've tagged. You can also tag documents with profile items. Now I haven't brought any documents in yet, but you can do that in addition and search directly for the documents by any profiles that you have set up. All right, let's move on. Okay, templates. Templates are used to create predefined folder structures. It puts everyone on the same page when it comes to filing, and there's no limit to the number of folder structures you can create with the basic templates feature. The advanced templates option provides 3 additional features. The first is the ability to mass apply a folder structure to all drawers in a cabinet. And number 2, to include files within a template structure. And 3, to be able to automatically sync changes to existing folders after a template has been edited. So let's take a look at each of these. All right, back inside eFileCabinet Express again, I'm going to show you first how to apply templates and do it drawer by drawer. I will then show you where the templates reside, how to create them, how to modify them or change them. So right now I am currently inside the human resource cabinet that I've created. These are all pretend employees, as you recall. And I'll just go to Darcy here, left click, right click, and apply a template. This opens up a window that shows me my libraries of templates. I have 2 libraries. One's accounting, and you can see I have accounting templates in here. I have an accounts payable and a tax client individual template. I also have the human resource library with a human resource template in there. And there it is. So I simply left click on the template and apply it. Okay, now what will happen is over here with Darcy, you can see that in her drawer, I have this folder structure from the templates now appears. So I have benefits, employee referral forms, payroll, etc. And so I can do that one at a time. Let me go up to a different cabinet and I'll go to the clients cabinet this time. Let's go down to, how about Benny Hill? Left click, right click, apply the template. This time I'll go to my accounting library and I'll go to the tax client individual template, left click and apply. And now you can see Benny Hill has a folder that just shows up, the 2007. Okay, so that is wrong. We'll fix that and I'll show you. That'll be good. And then the subfolders here. But I'll show you, easy to fix. I can left click here, right click. I can rename that. And let's make that 17. And so I can fix that there, and then I can also fix it in the template itself. And I'll show you that in a little bit and how you can actually, with an advanced feature, sync it. And I'll show you that also. So I applied a couple of templates. That's one drawer at a time. The advanced template feature allows you to mass apply templates. If I click on a cabinet, I can apply the same template structure in all the drawers at one time. If I come up here, right click, then I can mass apply a template, but I'm not going to do that right now. All right, let's go to where these templates are created and modified. I come up to the hamburger menu, down to the admin tab, down to templates. And there are my two template libraries, my accounting library with the accounts payable and the tax client individual one, which I just applied. There's the folders, subfolders, and then the other one I have here is the accounts payable. So you can have as many libraries as you wish. You can have as many templates as you wish in the libraries. Here's my employee HR one that we just applied. You can see I have folders and subfolders. So there's no limit to how you set this up. Now, how do I create a new one? So let's go back to templates. Let's go to the libraries. First thing I do is come over to the right and say create template library. I click on that and let's pretend we're now in the insurance industry. I will call this insurance. Okay, so I'll add this template. So now I have an insurance library. Now to create my first template within the library, just click on the link here and I come to the right again and create a template. So we'll call this life insurance and add the template. And so now I'll start to build my folder structure within the life insurance template. I come up to the template icon, I right click, I have choices here, new folder. So the first folder I'll call billing statements. There's my first folder. Come back up to the template, right click. My second folder I'll call documents. Enter. Add another folder. I'll call this medical examination. Enter. And I'll create two more. New folder, life policies. Enter. And the last one I will create is annuities. Enter. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the main menu. I'm going into my Robinhood clients drawer, and let's pretend Robin is a client of mine for insurance. I'm going to right click. I'm going to apply. Now I have a choice. I have my insurance template available and apply it. So now Robinhood in his drawer has that folder structure that we just created. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the templates and we're going to go into the advanced template benefits. I'm going to go back to the administration tab. go down to templates. Let's go back to the insurance template we just created. And inside the documents, I'm going to right click and I am going to upload a file. And it's this beneficiary form, group term life insurance beneficiary form, and open that and refresh. And you'll see in the documents now, there that form exists as part of the template. Again, this is an advanced feature. So I'm going to go back to my main menu. I'm going to go back to the clients drawer. And this time I'm going to go to Jane Jensen. I'm going to right click. I'm going to apply a template, which will be that insurance template, and apply. Now you can see Jane Jensen has the folder structure. Go into documents, and she also received that beneficiary form that was part of the template. Simply having the documents in the template, you can apply now in the advanced template, and you can see there is the form. Another advanced feature is the mass apply that I mentioned. However, before I demonstrate that, I want to go down first to Conterio Paul drawer, because remember I had this 2007 folder. It should be 2017. So let's fix that. And one of the ways to do that is to sync. So I'm going to go back to our templates, going to the accounting template of tax client individuals. Okay, so I'm going to change the name of the folder to 2017. And then I'm going to sync it. Whatever changes I make in the template will automatically apply those changes in the drawers. All right, and let's go back and take a look at the Conterio Paul drawer. And it should have changed it to 2017. Let me refresh this. And sure enough, it made that change. So whatever changes I make inside the template, whether I add a document or add a folder, it will automatically, when I sync it, make the change in any of the drawers that have that folder structure. The changes will be automatic. So let's do a mass apply. I'm going to come up here to clients. I'm going to right click. I'm going to mass apply the template. I'm going to go to the accounting library, to the tax client individual template, and I'm going to apply it. And again, this is one of the advanced template feature. Now, every single one of the drawers inside this cabinet just received that folder. So let's go down to Peter Pan. You can see Peter Pan has received the folder because of the mass apply feature. Okay, let's move on. Permissions. Permissions is a fundamental part of security that allows you to determine who has access to what files, folders, drawers, cabinets, and even the entire account. So let's take a look. Back again inside eFileCabinet Express. This is me, my business. I will also go in as a guest user. So let me minimize this, bring up the guest user. So I'm going to be working in two accounts. Now notice in the guest user account here, he cannot see anything but my business. That's all I've given permission. That's it. And if I come over to the right, this is who the guest user is. I named him Paul Guest User. And this is the email address that this guest user is working under. So what I'm going to do is go back to the admin user, and I'm going to give permissions to this guest user more than what you just saw. Under the hamburger menu, under the admin tab, under the users and groups, there is me, the main user. There I am. guest users. I have a bunch of them, so let me find Paul really quick. There's Paul, the guest user. And so when I click on the little link here, that's the name I chose. You can see permissions down here. That's all he can see is that icon. So let's give him some more. So I'm going to go back to the main page. I'm going to go to clients. Now, keep this in mind, and this is important, that if I were to give this user permissions at my business level, he would see everything I see. If I were to give this user permissions just at my client's cabinet, he would see everything in the client's cabinet, and that's it. But be careful. You want to go down to the bottom and determine from bottom up what this person should be able to see. So in this case, I've created this guest user Paul, and I can search for him up here too to make it faster, especially if you have a lot of guest users. There he is. When I click on him, it brings me right to his drawer. I'm going to bring it up here. And so right now, Paul doesn't see any of these folders or subfolders. So I'm going to do is give him first permissions to this IRS folder here. So I come over to the detailed menu to the right. I click on the permission icon and I go add permissions. And all I have to do is type in Paul's name in here and it'll find any Pauls I have. And I click the guest user. And now read, write, and delete. Read gives Paul the permission to be able to receive documents from me and save them to his computer. Write gives Paul permissions to send me documents back, and delete gives him permission to delete any documents in here. But keep in mind, as a guest user, if he deletes those documents, they're still in the recycle bin that you have control over. So I'm going to give this person the read-only permissions and save. Now we can see that Paul the admin and Paul the guest user has permissions to this folder. So let me minimize this and see what happens when I bring up that guest user and what he now sees. I'll refresh his account. He should see just one folder in there. There's the IRS folder and it's empty. And so because I gave him read and write permissions or read permissions only, let's take a look over here. See, he has read permissions only. He cannot upload any documents or drag and drop in there. It is grayed out. He can only see anything I put in there. So let's minimize this again real quick and do another example. So now I'm going to go down to the source documents folder, and here's a document that's already in there. Okay, so this document already exists in the source documents folder, and I'm going to give him permission just to see the document. And so the way I do that is I'll need to come over to the permissions button, add permissions. For who? Paul. I can also pull up groups of people at one time here, and I'm going to give him permission to just read it and save it. And then at the same time, let's go down to the tax return folder here, and I'm going to give Paul permission to read and write. Okay, so I'm going to minimize the main admin user there, go back to the guest user and refresh. Now we can see there's the tax documents folder, IRS folder, and there is the document. Now in the tax return folder, I've given him read and write permission, so now I can upload documents back to that particular user, and I can do multiple documents. So I'm just going to use my control key and pick a couple, 3 documents here and upload them. And there you go. So go back to the main admin one last time. I'm going to go up to the drawer itself. I'm going to give permissions from the drawer level down. And I'm just going to give them read permissions, save it. And so if I go to any folder in that drawer, the read permissions are there. And notice the tax return folder, originally I gave Paul read and write permissions, so he still has those. So keep that in mind. If you change it up here and push it down, if a folder already has permissions and you do no longer want this person to have the read-write permissions, you can change it here, or go to the admin tab, users and groups, guest user, search for that particular user, and this is probably the fastest way to do it. Just go down to the bottom here and you can see all the permissions that have been given, and you can change it here. Let's say I do not want him to have that write permissions. I can update it. This allows me to see in one window everywhere this person has permissions to. Okay, again, one last thing before we move on, and that is remember to give permissions at the bottom level first to be on the safe side. Know where you want your clients to be able to go and see and do ahead of time, and go to that folder or go to that document first. All right, let's move on. That is permissions. Okay, notifications. This tool allows guest users and users to be notified by email whenever a file in eFileCabinet Express is either uploaded, downloaded, or deleted. Also, when you set up a new guest user, there is a welcome email automatically sent to that person. When you subscribe to eFileCabinet Express, you should receive a new user welcome email like what you see now. Notice that this says eFileCabinet Express has created a user for you. So you'll see that. You'll see also your email address, which is your username, and then it'll say set your password. So you set your own password, then you log in using your username and your password, then accept the terms of service agreements. When you're ready, then you're able to experience eFileCabinet Express. When you create a new guest user, that person will also receive a welcome email. Here's an example of such an email. Now, if you leave it as is, the default will be the return address of no reply at eFileCabinet.net. It'll automatically just pull your email address here, and it'll be your email address has created a user for you in eFileCabinet. And then your guest user would see his or her email address here, and they would set their own password. Now, what I recommend you do is you can change the return email address from ours to yours. And there are tools inside eFileCabinet. You can see here under the admin tab, under settings, account settings, and when you click on this add email settings button, these windows will pop up, and so you can fill out your email information, your SMTP server address, the port, from email, username, password. And once you do that and update it, then this email address, this no reply, will be your email address. Your clients know who you are. Plus, it helps the email gets through the firewalls of your clients, or even they may think it's spam if they see the other. So I recommend you do this. The other thing you have control over too is right here. Instead of having your email address appear to your client, you have the opportunity to put your company name here or your name here. Okay, and the way you do that, when you log into eFileCabinet Express, here is where your email address will be. And where you see display name, that's something that you decide. Whatever you type in display name will appear here and also will appear here. And any other notification emails that your client receives from you will have whatever name you decide to be your display name. So here's an example of an email that is sent out when a document, in this particular case, was downloaded by myself. So you can see two documents were downloaded by me. I received this email, the Gettysburg Address document and the XYZ invoice. So how do you set up notifications? So I'm going inside eFileCabinet Express, mine, and you can see up here that this is me. And what I'm doing now is in the Conterial Paul drawer, I've given permissions to Paul, the guest user, to see that drawer. I've also in this correspondence subfolder have given this guest user the notification ability to be able to see documents that are uploaded by me into this folder. So any document I put in this folder, Paul, the guest user, will automatically receive an email notifying him whenever documents are placed in this folder. This is a file upload. Again, you can be notified for documents that are uploaded, downloaded, and deleted. So what I did is I simply dragged a document off of my desktop into this folder right here, the 1040 2016 PDF. Just dragged and dropped it right into this folder. The moment I did that, my client received this email. This email was automatically generated and sent out. This is my client's email. The filing activity recently occurred on your eFileCabinet account. The file 1040 2016 was uploaded by Paul Conterio. So my client receives this email letting him know that I had just sent him this document, and all he needs to do then to get to it is simply click on this link, and it opens up a browser where he can log in the secure drawer. Once inside, then you can see now I'm inside this client's Paul guest user secure drawer. I'm no longer in mine, this is his. And there is the document that my client sees, the 1040 2016 PDF. Now my client at this point can left click on this document and download this document to his computer, which he just did. The moment he has done that, then I get an email. This is now my email notifying me that the file 1040 216 was downloaded by Paul, the guest user. And I love this because now I can see when my clients and have proof of when my clients download documents to their computer. Because I set my notifications up to be able to see when documents are downloaded and uploaded. And I can also set it up to see when they're deleted, but I did not give my customers or clients permissions to delete, so I don't need to be notified. Okay, let's say my client wishes to send me a document. And so the client goes to the correspondence folder. The client then left clicks on it, uploads a document by going into his computer, navigating, finding a document or multiple documents. In this case, the client chose this Word document, the Gettysburg Address Word document. Clicks on open. Now that document is going up into eFileCabinet Express, and there it is. And so now when I go to my email, this is my email, I'll see that the Gettysburg Address was uploaded by Paul, the guest user. So now I have notification that documents up in the eFileCabinet Express account. So when I go back to my account, this is my account, I can see the document there. I can click on it and actually in the preview window can see the Gettysburg Address. All right, in review, before we actually get into this software live, I just want to go back to the admin tab, the account settings. You can see this little gear here for settings. You can see it up here. The guest user does not see this. The guest user and you can see the user settings. Again, that allows you to change your password and determine how long you want your browser open. And then over here is the settings for the account settings that allows you to set up your SMTP server. All right, so let's go live into eFileCabinet Express. Okay, back inside eFileCabinet Express, let's talk about how to set up notifications. So you can see here is my business, and as you look over at the detailed menu, as you go down to this little bell, this is where you set up notifications. Now, just like permissions, it's important to think about the client or the person you want to set up notifications. So you want to go down to the lowest level in the tree and work upwards. Now, if you are the user, the main user, then you want to go to the top of the tree and push it down. So let's go into my business. As you recall, I have 3 cabinets: clients, family, and human resources. Let's go into the clients cabinet. That's where we've been looking at as we had the example of how we're notified, what kinds of emails go back and forth in Conterial Paul here. So when I click on that drawer and go over to the right to the detailed menu, you can see there is no notification set up at the drawer level. Let's go inside the drawer and go to the correspondence folder, and there you can see that Paul the guest user has been set up, so anything in this folder that comes in here, he'll be notified with an email. So if I put a document in here, he'll be notified that there's a document form. We saw that. If I go to any of the other folders, there is no notification set up. So what would be easier in this case, if I want Paul to receive notification for everything in his drawer, I would not start at the folder level, I'd go to the drawer. So let's just delete what we set up here. Let's go up to the drawer and let's come back to add notifications. So when I click on this button, it opens up this window. And from here I can do a universal search for Paul. Okay, that's easy to do. Also, it allows me to go to either the guest users, the users, or the groups. So if I go to the users, you're going to see just me in there because I'm the only user. Okay, if I go to the guest users, you'll see all of my guest users in there. So I can either do a search or just eyeball it. And if I go to my groups, you can see here's all of my groups that we set up earlier. So you can have a notification go to an entire group. Makes it easy. So in this particular case, I just want to provide notification to this guest user. So I can simply type in Paul. And there's my guest user. Now, what type of notification do I want Paul to have? As we mentioned earlier, for clients, customers, I recommend just upload. So that means that anything you send to that client, they're going to receive an email notification that there's documents there. They don't need to worry about deletions or downloads. So I'll just save that. Now, me as the main user, what I would recommend you do is go to the cabinet itself. So this is my client cabinet. Okay, so I would go up to the client's cabinet and I would come and add notifications. Again, I'm the only user here. That's me. And then I would decide at this point, yes, I want to be notified when a client sends me a document. That's file upload. Yes, I want to be notified when my client downloads a document. So I have record or proof that he or she has downloaded a document. Now, item deletion, that's up to you. Anytime a document is deleted, you'll be notified. If you do not give permission to your guest users to delete, then it's a moot point. If you do, then you may want to see what they've deleted. But keep in mind, anything deleted still exists on the server. It's in the recycle bin that you can go back to and either restore or permanently purge. All right, one other example quickly. I'm going to go to the Human Resource Cabinet. Remember these groups. Any document I put in the All Employee drawer, all the employees that are members of that group will receive it. Let's go down to just the executive team, for example, and I want to set up notification. I simply come over again to add notification. I can go down to groups, and again I have an executive team group that I can search for up here, but there it is. Whenever I put a document into this drawer, I want everybody who's a member of that group to receive an email that that has happened. And so that's how you set up notifications for yourself, your clients, your employees, and your family members. Simple to do, great tool to communicate the fact back and forth that documents have been sent, received, or deleted. Okay, let's move on. Item expiration is a tool that allows a user to either delete or remove access to a file, folder, drawer, or cabinet automatically after a determined period of time. So let's take a look. Okay, item expiration. So how long do you want to keep an item? So what is an item? Item can be a cabinet, it can be a drawer, it can be a folder, it can be a document itself. I'm going down to Jennifer Larson's drawer. She's an employee here. Let's take a look at permissions first. Who has permission to this drawer? I do. Jennifer does. Anything that goes into this drawer, she can see the documents and she can put documents back into the drawer at any level at this point. Now, Darcy, I put her in here. I've given her permissions as Jennifer reports to Darcy. Now, Darcy can just see the documents that are in this drawer and download them. She cannot put anything into the drawer itself. So now let's take a look at expiration. So come up to this little icon here. It says item expiration. And at this point, if I put an expiration on the drawer itself, then anything inside the drawer it would apply to also. So for example, let's go up to add expiration. And let's say 1 year from now, I want this entire drawer deleted. I save it, and that drawer will be deleted in 1 year. However, the drawer will still exist in the recycle bin, so I can either restore it or purge it at that point. So I'm going to remove this deletion, and let's go inside the drawer. You can see there is a document in here, and I can put the expiration at the document level. I'm going to bring in another document or file. I'm going to drag and drop another file inside this drawer. So now I have an employee referral form, which is a PDF, and I have a performance evaluation document right here. And so if I want to take a peek at this document, I can look at it really quick. So there is the employee referral form. Let's say I only want to keep this available until the end of the year. Item expiration, add expiration, and go to December of this year, 31st, and save it. So on the last day of the year, this document will automatically be deleted and it will go into the recycle bin. Now this performance evaluation form, I want to do something different with that. So I'm going to add expiration. And what I'm going to do, instead of deleting, let's say in a couple of months from now, let's go April 15th. I want this document to no longer be available to Jennifer. So I come down here, remove access from who? Notice that Darcy's name appears here and so does Jennifer because they both have permission to this drawer. I'm removing access to Jennifer in 2 months or a couple months. So on April 15th, 2017, this document, this file will still be in this drawer, but when Jennifer logs in, she will not see it. However, if I log in or if Darcy logs in, it will be there for her to see or for me to see. So item expiration is a fantastic tool to let the eFileCabinet Express software intelligently manage the life or access of your cabinets, drawers, folders, or documents. So let's move on. File management contains 2 tools, the recycle bin and managing checked out files. The recycle bin contains all the items that have been deleted inside eFileCabinet Express. These deleted items will remain there until they are either purged or restored by the eFileCabinet Express users who have data management system permissions. Guest users, however, have no system permissions. File management also allows a user to view and or check in as needed any or all checked out files. In the management of files, I will also introduce the add-on Sidekick product, which is PC availability only. So let's take a look. In discussing file management and in demonstrating file management, one needs to have files inside eFileCabinet Express in order to do that. So there's several ways in which you can bring files or documents into eFileCabinet, and there are ways to remove them. Let me go up to the hamburger menu to begin with. Let's go down to the Admin tab, and here is where the file management is located. Here's the recycle bin. Currently, there are no documents or files or folders or drawers in the recycle bin, and there are no checked out files currently. Now, checked out files is an advanced feature. Also, checked out files can only be performed at this time by a user. A guest user cannot do this. So in the future, if you have additional users, then this feature will become more important, and I'll explain why in a minute. So first I want to go up to users and groups. I want to go to the user. I am the only user here. As you look at guest users, I have quite a few. But as the only user, when I click on this user, you notice the system permissions show themselves here. System permissions can only be performed by a user or users. Guest users do not have this feature. If I go to a guest user, any guest user, you'll see system permissions does not exist. So going back to users, one of the things this allows you to do for a user is to allow data management. This allows access to data management controls like recycle bin. So in the future, if you ever have additional users, you are able to determine what that user can or cannot do in terms of system permissions. Now, you as the main user can do all of these things. So I'm now going to show you different ways to put files into eFileCabinet Express. To do that, I'll go back to the main menu, go down to the Clients Cabinet, go down to Tom Adams Drawer, and in the 2017 folder, the subfolder Correspondence, you can see it's empty here. I'm going to move over to the right of the browser and move it in a little bit. You'll see I have some files and folders that are sitting on my desktop, and I'll simply show you something I've already done in the past is just drag and drop a document into this window here and let go. And there is a document. Now I'm also going to show you I can bring multiple documents at one time. I'm going to use my control key, and I'm just going to bring these two in, and I'll left click, use my control key and left click, so I have a PDF and a Word document. I'm going to drag both of those in and drop them that quickly. That's one way. Another way, let's go down to this IRS folder, which is empty. I'm going to right click, and I'm going to upload, and I'm going to my desktop, and I'm going to look for documents for Express training. And I'm going to bring a few of those in. I'll bring in this Word document, use my control key again, and just cherry pick, and then open. And you'll see these documents are now coming in. So that's two ways using eFileCabinet Express on how to bring documents in. So I can upload or drag and drop, and there's different ways to get to the upload functionality. I can slide to the right. You can see these two little icons here. This allows me to upload, opens up a window again into the computer I'm sitting on. And then this one here allows me to create another folder within that folder if I decided to do that. Now, one of the things with eFileCabinet Express is you can only drag documents in, you cannot drag them out. However, let me bring in the Sidekick, which is a additional advanced feature. Now, Sidekick, as you look in Sidekick, let's go to the home, My Business. There's the Clients Cabinet, the Family Cabinet, Human Resource Cabinet. And so what you'll see as I go into eFileCabinet Express, it is connected to the same database in both places. So everything that I do inside eFileCabinet Express happens in Sidekick and vice versa. So let's go into the Clients Cabinet and Sidekick, Tom Adams Drawer, 2017, and you can see the documents that I just put in eFileCabinet Express already exist in Sidekick. So let me grab another document over here, and I'm going to drag this into Sidekick and let go. So you can see I can drag into Sidekick just as well. And then I can come up to eFileCabinet Express, and let's go back to the Clients Cabinet under the IRS Correspondence, and there is the beneficiary form in both places. Now, one of the things you can do with Sidekick that you cannot do with eFileCabinet Express is I can drag out. So I can take any one of these documents, and let's open up this folder here. It's empty. And I'm just going to take this document and drag it into this Windows folder out from Sidekick. So you can see here is a driver's license of mine that's been redacted that I just dragged out of Sidekick right into a Windows folder that quickly. Now something else that's really cool is I can take an entire Windows folder with documents, and it could have subfolders in here if I wanted to. Let's create another Windows folder in here. Call this test folder. And I can put one of these documents into that test folder. And so what I'm going to do now is close this, open up Sidekick. Let's just drag this entire Windows folder into Sidekick and let go. Now let me go over to eFileCabinet Online and refresh it. And look for the documents for Express Training folder, see if it comes up here. And there it is. The entire folder is there. Let's move this over. Open up eFileCabinet Express a little bit. And there are the documents. And I refreshed it again, and there is the subfolder that came with it. There should be a document in there too. And there they are. So you can drag entire Windows folders with documents inside, with subfolders, with documents in the subfolders. You can drag that into eFileCabinet Sidekick. So let's open up and see. There they are. There is the test folder. And again, I could drag any one of these entire folders out from Sidekick onto my desktop or somewhere in Windows. Okay, I'm going to slide the browser over again, and I am going to start to delete some of these files that I've brought in. So if I take this document, right click and delete it. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes. Okay, let's take this entire text return folder, right click and delete it. Okay. Let's go down to the Peter Best drawer, right click and delete it. And let's go up to the correspondence folder and right click and delete two of these documents. Okay, and let's refresh. Let's go to Sidekick also. And let's delete this file from Sidekick. I can do the same within Sidekick. I can delete that file. This little window comes up. Are you certain you wish to delete this? Yes. Okay, so let's go to the hamburger menu, Admin tab, File Management, Recycle Bin. Now you can see the items in the recycle bin, the documents, the drawers, the folders. And so from at this point, I can say, okay, I want to permanently remove this file. I can use my control key and say I want to get rid of this file, these two, and I can purge them. Now they're gone permanently. And let's say the rest of them I want to restore. And I click on the restore button. And now those items will be back in the tree view. So I'm going to talk now about the previewer, and I'm going to go back to the clients cabinet in Conterial Paul drawer and go down to the correspondence folder, and you'll notice there's two files or documents here. One is a PDF document that I'm pulling up right now in the previewer. So you can see the document without having to open the application or download it. This allows you to look at the document up in the cloud. The standard previewer that comes with eFileCabinet Express, allows you to see just the PDF documents. The add-on feature allows you to look at other documents like Word documents, Excel documents. So let's take a peek at this Gettysburg Address as a Word document. And so here you can see that document, and there are tools here where I can zoom in and look closer at whatever I need to. So that's the previewer that users are able to see those documents. The previewer does not work for guest users. This is a user-only feature at this point. So let's talk about checking out documents. So I'm going to go back to those same two documents, and there's a couple ways to check out documents. And there's several ways to download a document. So I can come over to the right here and click this download button, and that allows me to download the document to my computer. Or I can right click and download a document. Or I can come up to the toolbar, highlight the document, and then download it. So there are three ways to download a document. I can also check documents out by right clicking. This allows me to open the document and then be able to make changes to that document and then check it back in. So I'll click OK. And you can see now the document has opened up on my computer. If I go back to the hamburger menu, down to the admin tab, file management, check out files. This is where I see all the files or documents that are currently checked out. Now, only users are able to check out documents. Guest users cannot do this. So if you are the only user and there are no additional users, then this feature will show you just what you're checking out, which is not going to be that helpful. If you have other users in your organization and someone checks out a document and maybe leaves the building and doesn't check it back in, this allows you to go in and check that document back in no matter who the user is in your organization. So you can just simply check it back in this way, or I can close the document here and come back to that document and right click and check it in. Check it in with changes, check it in without changes. Now also the Sidekick. If you have Sidekick, again, this add-on feature, this is probably a faster way or an easier way to check out documents. So if I come up here and go to the same location in Sidekick, from clients down to Conterial Paul, and look in that same folder. Now here's how easy it is to check a document out with Sidekick. Right click, check out, and so now I have the document checked out. You can see there's a little lock here that lets you know that this document's been checked out. And so I can come into the document. Let me just close that and maybe write something on the document. Save it, close it, come back to Sidekick, slide over to the right. There's two locks. One is click here to check this file in with your changes. The second lock, click here to check in this file and ignore your changes. So I want to make the changes available. So I'll close that, move that over, and click on the document and do a refresh. Then download the document. And you can see the change has been made. All right, I want to return to Sidekick for a couple of minutes. There's a tremendous benefit that Sidekick allows you to be able to scan directly into eFileCabinet Express with this add-on product. And I'm going to demonstrate how that works in a second. It's important to have a good scanner. And here's the scanner that I use. I want to just show it to you real quick. It's an Epson scanner. It does 65 pages a minute, full duplex color, and this is a fantastic scanner. Fujitsu has great scanners, but it's important. As you can see, this is a video of my scanner, but I'm going to go live to the scanner to demonstrate the benefits of Sidekick with eFileCabinet. So how do you do that? Let me show you. So I opened up Sidekick. Under the Home tab, you can see here's my clients, family, and human resource cabinets. I'm going under Human Resources, and under the Marketing Team, I'm going to right-click and set this as my default store location. Anything I scan or even just drag into Sidekick will automatically go into this drawer. And I want to send a couple of pieces of marketing material to the marketing team. And by scanning directly into this drawer, everyone in the marketing team will receive an email notifying him or her of what I just did, and then they're able to grab the scanned item that I'm about to scan and show you. Under settings, I can always see what my current default storage location is: my business, human resources, the marketing team. I can also come back here and I can come up to the marketing team again, right click and make this a pinned item. So that allows me to go to it really quick. And so I can pin as many items as I want. So let's come back to home. Let's go back and open up the marketing. I can go here and do that. And you'll see as I scan, it will go directly into this drawer. And so I'm going to scan now. I'm just going to move this over to the right. Here's my little scanning eFileCabinet online scanner button. I click that and this window opens up. Let me just move this over so I can show you. Let's just bring this in a little bit. Now I have two pages that are in that Epson scanner. I'm going to do a full duplex. So I'm going to come over here and change it to duplex, and I'm going to do color. And I'm going to click on the scan button. So page 1 and page 2 has just gone through, and you can see here it scanned both sides of those two pages. All I have to do is click on this store button, and you should see the document automatically being placed in Sidekick, which, as you recall, automatically places it into eFileCabinet Online. So let's click on the store button. And there you can see it going in. So now I'm going to take this document that I just scanned. I'm going to minimize the scanning interface. And I'm going to bring Sidekick over and just drag this document to my desktop. Okay, and here's the document. I'm just going to open it up. Not only did I get the document, but everybody in the marketing department received this same document. The other benefit of Sidekick, it helps to organize what you're going to do the next day. It's a great organizational tool. So if I go back to my business and let's say under my clients drawer, I need to work tomorrow on Peter Best's account, I can right click and pin that down here. And let's say also Jane Jensen, I need to work on her account tomorrow. I can pin that here. And let's just say I also need to go to my family and I need to work or call Barbara tomorrow. And what I did here is now I made Barbara my current storage location. So anything I drop into Sidekick will go into this folder. So let's just come home. Let's close this. Let's just drag a document into Sidekick. It'll automatically go into that default storage location. tomorrow comes along and I need to work with Jane first, I can click on Jane's drawer, goes right to her drawer. Peter goes right to his drawer, and Barbara goes right to this document. So Sidekick is an excellent product that helps you manage. It allows you to drag entire folder structures in. You can drag out of Sidekick, and you can scan directly into Sidekick, which automatically places it into the same location inside eFileCabinet Express. So let's move on. Audit logs. Audit logs provide a permanent record of user and guest user activity while logged into eFileCabinet Express. Let's take a look. All right, finally back inside eFileCabinet Express as we finish this training off. I'm going to go up to the hamburger menu. There's two different places to go for auditing. One's kind of a universal audit, and the other is targeted auditing. So go down to the Admin tab, go down to the Audit button, and this shows me everything that's happened since day one of eFileCabinet Express. And you can see that you can sort it by date, you can sort it by the different users, the action, as you can see, applying templates, checking in, creating, download, and categories. So cabinets, and you can see drawers and files. So those are the different categories and the description of what's happened. So if I sort this by user, let's take a look at this. Here's Jennifer Larson, and she did a download on February 15th at this time. So let's check that out. We can simply go to the main menu, and I'm going to simply type in Larson's last name here and do a search for her drawer. There's Jennifer Larson, and takes me right to her drawer in the Human Resource Cabinet. And here are two documents in there. So let me click on the Performance Evaluation and go down to the Detailed menu at the bottom. There's an audit log here that's targeted just now for this document. And it shows here's the download that Jennifer Larson did. Now this is great for me because then I know that this employee or this client actually downloaded the document that I sent to her. So again, you can go to the Universal Audit Trail or each item itself, starting up at the very top at the account. You can see what's happened in the account. You can go to a cabinet, see what's taken place in just the cabinet. I can go down to a drawer, and in a drawer I could go down to, let's say, this document here, and this shows that Paul Quinterio downloaded it on this date, uploaded it. Let's sort by users. Here's Paul, the guest user, downloaded this document on this date. So two locations. This is a great tool to help you be able to be compliant. If you're ever audited, you can show a record of where people have been and what they've done. All right, we are at the end of the training, and let's move on to our last page. Okay, thank you so much for attending this training. We have a couple of websites that are going to be helpful to you as you go forward. Support at eFileCabinet.com and training at eFileCabinet.com. You're welcome to come on this training session as often as you feel you need to. And then also you can contact us at support at eFileCabinet.com. Thanks again, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Bye for now.